Right, okay, I think that's probably enough time for the stream to sort of started going. Hello, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Science Mode. Another bonus episode. It's Tuesday, and I wanted to play the game, and I figured I'd do a bit more of the rover stuff. So we'll get started. Resume saved. This one. So yeah, at the moment I'm thinking we started work on a rover. With the idea being that we'll sort of put this rover inside inside a lander that will hopefully at some point land on Moho. But at the moment I'm thinking there's a couple of things. I feel like we need to test this rover deployment thing before we send it all the way to Moho and realise it doesn't work. So I'm thinking of a two-stage testing regime after we've designed it. First being testing the deployment process on Kerbin itself, and then sending a version of the lander to the Mun, because if it can land on Moho, it should be able to land on the Mun. So yeah, because at the moment I'm also thinking actually it's not the tracking station I want, is it? It's the astronaut complex, because if we look at the assigned. Currently in Mos we have 2 pilots and 2 scientists, and I feel again they've been there for a while. They probably want to be relieved, so I'm thinking if we can do sending this lander a moon mission with this lander, and then essentially a crew of 3 people for the lander, and then a scientist, engineer, and pilot, with an additional scientist and pilot in the transfer vehicle, in the transfer stage, with a view of then docking at the moon station, doing a crew relief, and then bringing the crew on the station back. So we'd need a transfer stage with capacity for 5 Kerbals, the lander capacity for 3 Kerbals, and then hopefully a rocket big enough to transfer the entire thing to the moon and then back with a rover. Which I think is entirely feasible. So yeah, there are currently 4 crew on there, and we'll bring the engineer. Whilst the engineer is there, we'll have him fit a couple of new science experiments to the lander that's currently docked to the moon station. But yes, in the meantime. We need to get this whole Moho lander thing. We need to get this Moho lander design. So we want a command pod. This is going to be the core of the lander itself and the return stage. This is kind of similar to the Juno lander in this regard. It's going to be transporting 3 Kerbals, not 2. This is just because we're going to be deploying field science, which again is something we need to deploy on the moon anyway. So might as well test the entire lander concept. So if we set this to Moho, which only has vacuum, and so this is going to be our return stage. So we need this has got reaction wheels built in. We need a docking port, which I think the standard docking port will be sufficient, because we're not going to be dealing with much atmosphere, so that'll do. This is only going to be operating in vacuum in theory. I mean, we're going to test it. We're going to do a little test on Kerbin, so maybe launch it off, do a little launch and land, and then try deploying this lander. It's the general idea. Call it the Moho lander for now. Hang on, no, we don't want to do that. Moho lander proper. Just because I don't want to overwrite that yet, because I want to merge that in at some point. But I think I need to go. I need to open it and make sure it's the. I need to go in and make sure that the Moho lander, the root part is sufficiently. So that is currently the root part, which is not super great, I think. Yeah, so I need to reroute. Hello, is it Lazar or... Oh, bye, very well. Is it Yazar 12? Like, I'm not sure if that's an I or an L at the start of your name. But there we go. Right, so let's do that. Save this. So that we're basically attacking this from this part rather than the bottom part. We will save. We will reopen the Moho lander proper, like so. L. Okay, so Lazar, or yeah. I mean, I apologise if I'm butchering your pronunciation of a username. Like, I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to phonetically like spell it out in the chat, but you're welcome to try. How are you doing anyway? Since you're evidently still here. Right. What am I doing? I am building something that will, return stage. So make sure we are still set to Moho. Cool. What is the landing delta V for Moho I've written down as 870. So that's like the bare minimum we need. So I do want to. We'll do some part clipping. Look at all these different tanks. I doubt the return stage needs a whole lot. Plate. Let's just fit the things we need on here. So we want a ladder. We want the science storage to be on this thing. So if we hit this to 2, and then be a bit cheeky with this, and sort of embed these in the fuel tanks a bit. So in theory we can still access them from the outside, but they are going to be like somewhat embedded in the lander itself. That would mean like a Kerbal can reach it from here to store things in it, and then we can transfer things. Is the idea. We want a couple of solars and a communications dish, and this is all we're going to need for the return stage. Let's go with the 3x2 photovoltaics. Pop these under the windows. There we go. And again, these should be fine on the Mern, and even these should be fine on Moho, because on Moho, so the panels generate 10 times as much energy, because it's that much closer to the sun. And we want this communitron should be fine. We don't want 2 of them. We only want 1. Extend antenna. There we go. Cool. Right. So we need to attach some engines to this. So probably gonna need more than. Let's have a look. See what what we've got here. See what the sparks give us. Lots of delta V and enough thrust to weight ratio. That works. 2.74 from TWR, 2,000 meters per second delta V, and I think Moho is heavier than. Let's have truss mount. There we go. We can make this a short attachment. I think. So this is with our return module. And then the plan will be to stick the rover deployment and stuff on the bottom. So in theory, if we save this, and then we grab the Moho lander and we merge it in, we flip it upside down, close we'll build the fairing in a second. It is quite long. Yeah, I mean, like, long landers aren't the worst. We also don't want 2 of these, only want 1. Does this actually retain it? It does, brilliant. We'll deal with that anyway, because we want this to be on the outside, so that we can act, because the idea is we're going to build this fairing, and the fairing deployment is going to be part of the rover deployment step, which we will figure out once we've got everything else, because we want to add like another ladder here. But we want it to be not that way, that way. We just need them to overlap, like so. Let me try and like line them up, but in theory, if they're close, if they're close enough to each other, then that should be close enough. Let's go back to place mode. That should be fine. Again, we'll be able to test it, because like if they're going to be able to get back in, they're going to need to be able to climb from one ladder to another. But yeah. Oh yeah, we're also gonna. I was also gonna see if we can add a couple of extra things to this rover, because we don't have a scanning arm, which I feel like we could probably do with, but I don't know where would fit one. Is my only question. I think we could fit one along the back, and then we can reverse it up to something we want to scan. So I'm thinking if we have us a large, medium. I think the medium is the one that we light scanning arm. How big is the light one? That kind of works. And there was also a I don't know if I can fit a gamma ray spectrometer on board, but it is a fairly hefty looking thing. Nah, I don't think so. I think we'll leave it the scanning arms in case we want to use that. Oh yeah, we want to stick a couple of lights on as well, which are under utility. Just a spotlight Mark 1, I think. I'll do. Just a bit of extra stuff on the rover, sorry. So yeah, cool. Right. So now we need to add the things below this. So we now need the landing stage. We also really want one of these fairings to be staged. Actually, no, we don't want these fairing staged because the cowl's going to handle the deployment of the fairing. So, yes, actually, we want these to be unstaged as well. Disable staging and disable staging because we don't want these decoupler species. Because yeah, again, like the cowl controller is going to handle the decouplers and the fairing deployment. And so the idea is that we hit the play button, and this thing just drops the rover outside. Hopefully, if we can get a decent enough like landing stage below, because I also want to ideally bring some cargo. And I feel like this is going to be way too big, like 0.4 tons, but these are also quite big. They do have quite a bit of storage capacity though, that's my only thing. I think this one should be enough. I just need to figure out where to put it. Although, let's see, 650 lot with 9. This stores 60 with, and these stores 180 with 3. So 3 of these would be more than 1 of these, I think, in terms of space. We will see. Also, we get some storage space in here too. But yeah, I think so. This is going to be a tall lander, so like the risk of it going over is not small. So what I think we'll do is we'll go for the fuel tanks. Again, so this thing is presumably now considerably heavier. So probably need about twice as much fuel for the landing. Is my estimate. With another engine plat. And again, we'll go with triple attached nodes, and we'll try the Terrier this time and see what 3 Terriers give us. 3.29 is not great. I'd rather have a little more. So I'm thinking, because I think like an additional engine will give us about this. Like we've got like nearly double the delta V we should need. Obviously, we haven't added all mass yet, so that could go down. But we can add some more fuel tanks to increase that. What I want to do is I want to make this bare mount. I want to make this a quad, just to give us a 4.28 is much. I like that. I prefer 4.28 in terms of a delta V for landing. In terms of a thrust to weight ratio for landing, like as close to 5 as one can get. But again, we haven't finished adding everything to this yet, so because we're going to need another ladder. We're going to need legs, which I think the heftier landing struts are probably the need more than 2 of them. Probably the way to go here. Again, we'll be leaving this on the surface is the idea. And then we need, and again, because we're going to be leaving this whole thing on the surface, we can just attach cargo parts. So I don't necessarily want 4 of them. I do want 3, but I do want to be positioned such that they are, like one of them is near the ladder. Like so, I think. Let's over here. I'm trying to avoid these when they're retracted, so yeah. That works, and then we can move them. We can move them in slightly to make it look a bit more aesthetic. There we go. So hopefully 3 of these should be enough to store all of our necessary experiments. We do need another ladder. Utility ladder. We don't need 3 of them. We only need 1. Everything's happening on the single ladder today. That should hopefully be enough for the Kerbals to grab on. Now the question is, if we were to lower this dune to the surface here, like so, it's about on the ground. 1592 meters per second with 4.17 thrust to weight ratio. So yeah, again, like the suggested is 870, so 1500 is nearly double. So hopefully that's more than we need to actually like successfully land, even doing so inefficiently. Now the question is, with this, we want to save what we've got so far. Oh yeah, we also need to put the I think this thing already considers there to be 3 Kerbals on board. Yeah, so we can like this. So like these weight calculations will be all based on that. We do need to stock the cargo. So if we go to the cargo parts, what we need is we need one of these. We don't need a weather analyzer. We do want one of these. 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 So that is the goo monitor. The goo monitor, the ionographer, the seismometer, the communitron, and the everything except the weather analyzer, because the weather analyzer you need an atmosphere for, and an ionographer you need to not have an atmosphere for. And then we need, in theory, 2 of these, because because if the engineer places it, it generates 4 units of power, and we have 5 things to power, so we need 2 of them. Cool, I think that's everything. So what are we looking like now? 1571 with 4.13. I think there's some scope to add a little bit more fuel here. Especially once we build the fairing. So I'm thinking if we grab a couple of like baguette, and we just stick them on there to give us a bit more. And again, 4.02 TWR. That's a little bit low for my liking for landing purposes, but I like the extra delta V. So we do this like so. I kind of think we do want a probe core on this thing somewhere if we can fit it. I'm tempted to be sneaky and hide it underneath here. Just configure vessel naming and make this a priority 1. No one's gonna know. No one's gonna know there's a probe core hidden in there. Cool. So we'll configure the vessel naming here. This is going to be the Moho lander, but it will have a little bit of a priority 9. It will have a wee bit of a testing campaign before we actually try landing it on Moho. So, question now is, if we open the editor here, you see that ain't bad. Like that's not far off the ground, is it? So, what I want to do is go into action groups. I want to go here. I want to add a few more things. So I want to add the wheels. If I can, extend, retract, and brake. I wonder if that's just apply brake or toggle brake. I don't know. Extend, retract, and brake. And I think we want these to behave the same way, so we don't need to differentiate them. Extend, retract, and brake. So whilst this is doing this thing, we grab this thing, we just add all of these so that they hopefully deploy and brake, and then that drops this decouples. Oh yeah, we also want to add this one probably. Yeah, we want to add this deployment as well because we want this thing to deploy first thing. So almost like here, like right at the start, we want to add a we want to add the deployment there. So this thing will have 4 sides, ejection force like that. Yeah, we'll build the fairing in a second. We want it to deploy. So yeah, the fairing deploys. We start rotating. We move this out. We lower it down. The wheels should hopefully activate at that point. Then this is when it gets dropped, hopefully without incident onto the surface. Then we kind of want call it 20 seconds, and then by 25 seconds we want everything stowed back. So we want this to be a at 0 as well. And then at this point you just need to rotate this into the actual thing. So I think it's shoulder hinge here, which will again want a point around about here, and then a point around about here, which will be the not like that, aiming for 0 really. And similarly with this thing, we want this to be 0. About this, yeah, 25 ideally dead, but yeah. And then that's like I think that's a suitable sort of like stowage after the fact. Cool. So that's that. I think that's everything we want there. Yeah, we do want to actually we do want to like test playing the sequence. So because again, like there's no physics being applied to this, so we've no idea how this will actually yeah, so it drops the rover, hopefully without incident, and then like it won't actually be like that is the point. Actually, we do want to we don't want it to like clip back through when it's retracting, so we do want the hinge to actually, yeah, we want this this hinge to go at 25, I think. Yeah, so it retracts like this. Actually, what we can do is we can have elbow hinge 1 with a point at 20. As it's pulling back like so, we can have this. So right about there, I think we want that to be. See, about 22.5, I think. We want this to be like so. Elbow hinge 2, similar thing there, and then elbow hinge 2 will just fold itself all the way back over. And make this 90 as well. There we go. And again, this should hopefully be after the Hopefully after the rover's been deployed, so this won't be a problem. It's not going to like smash it back into the thing. We do want these to be retracted. I don't know if brakes have been... Who knows? Alright, yeah, so now we need to... I think this has been programmed. Hit save. We want to go back to build mode. We want to build our fairing. Like so. Oh, gold doesn't even does anything. They're just gotta keep in the color scheme of the thing, I think. Alright, so at the moment I don't want to like try doing it on the pad itself, so I'm thinking if so we save this first stage. We let's do the action groups while we're here. Action groups. So custom 10, which will be for set. Let's call it set 2. Will be landers. Which will do the solar panels and the antenna. Custom 1 for landers will toggle the ladders, of which there are many. Nope, nope, nope. This one. Toggle ladders. Right. So let's retract the ladder, because again this will be a test of whether or not Kerbals can actually climb. We start with these retracted. We also want to, do want to do action groups for the rovers as well. So action group 5, which will be for set 4, which will be rovers, which will just do all of this. So conduct material study, log pressure data, log seismic data, observe mystery goo, log gravity data, log temperature, and then we can do the scanning arm manually. Okay, right, I think that'll do for... Oh yeah, we also want to do the... Does this thing have a crew report functionality? I don't think it does it? What else? Panic. Oh wow, you can actually... Is that new? You can add the... Yeah. Didn't know these were options. But it doesn't seem to have a crew report, so we need to do the crew report from here, don't we? Which here doesn't really make sense in the rovers group. So we probably have this in landers. Crew report here. Okay, right. So we have, in theory, a lander capable of landing on Moho, and if we switch this to the Mun, it should hopefully be able to land on the Mun as well. Yeah, 6.56 and 4.18. So yeah, so these are it can land on Moho, and Moho's apparently bigger than the Mun, so it should be able to land on the Mun too, because they're both like vacuum, so they both have no atmosphere. I have no idea what the rotation speed of this thing is going to be. I guess that's why we send it to the moon. Like we test it, because I mean, like if all else fails, if we get a bit hairy, we can ditch and go back to orbit. So yeah, I mean, again, this is why we send it to we're going to send it to the Mun because it'll be easier to test it there than to test it on Moho. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a testing campaign, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to test the deployment thing on Kerbin itself. Now, the easiest thing to do would be to test this on the landing pad, and I think that's probably the best plan. So to basically like drop it on the landing pad and just test the deployment there rather than trying to like launch it and land it somewhere nearby. Although I could do it on the, oh, actually I might do it on the I might try doing it on the, yeah, I might try doing it on the runway instead of a landing pad. So what we're going to do is, I don't want a Kerbal in it. I do want to test the ladders. So we will put a Kerbal in, we'll have a single Kerbal inside. We'll have Alson inside, and Alson's going to test the ladders. Because hopefully the deployment of this thing won't impact the actual lander itself. And again, if it does, we want to know that. So if we save what we currently have, we switch editor, and hopefully it'll be standing. Yep, okay, cool. Then we launch it. Alright, so this is phase 1. This is hopefully this should come in on the should hopefully come in on the, we don't need, what do we need of MechJeb? We don't need landing guidance. We are literally just going to try and set this to landers at the moment. Let's test that. Yep, we have solar. No, not really need to test that, but there you go. And let's try hitting play. Cool. And this is under Kerbin gravity, so it should be lower it down, deploy the wheels, drop it. I should have applied the brake, but there you go. Let's just do this and toggle the brakes action group because we want it to stop. What was that? Something appeared to come off. It wasn't the light though. Okay, so if we hit U, yeah, we've got lights. Oh, the rover. The rover arm. The rover arm got destroyed. I mean, okay. I suppose we can bring repair kits because if we're bringing an engineer, the engineer can repair it. But that's fine. So it seems to work, right? Like aside from the fact the rover arm got damaged, which might not happen on the moon or on Moho because the gravity is lower. Yeah, so now if we hit 1, we should get our ladders, and we'll see if they can climb up and down the ladders on Kerbin, they can do it. And why are they free? I very explicitly said not to have free in here. Oh well. Fortunately, they haven't been put in too much danger. See if they can climb between ladders. Seems fine so far. There we go. Cool. Can we grab a ladder? Let's try climbing back in, and then we'll recover everything. And we will hopefully, yeah, we'll stick a repair. We've got space to put a little stack of repair kits in case we need to repair anything on the rover. Actually, that's one thing I do want to test is I want to test driving the rover and test doing its doing its science and see if the oh wow, there is actually a sprint function. That's quite useful. So yeah, if you hit shift you can sprint, so let's see if we can't board. Let's go for a wee little drive around. Yay, collisions. No. Boing. Right. I don't think we've done science from here yet, so let's hit the brakes. And let's hit, let's go to the, turn off, we don't need anything on MechJeb, we want rovers. And we want to hit 5. And yeah, we've got some science, and we haven't actually done science in the runway yet, so might as well get that while we're here. Keep this. Yeah, I'm quite happy that that's we want to leave seat. There we go. So that's I think that's a successful Kerbin test of the rover. We will get ourselves back into the thing. We'll recover everything, and then we will attempt to build a moon rocket with this and give it a go on. The hell was that? Did it just like cracken on a piece of the rover arm? I think it did. That would have been a bit annoying. Right, let's do and board. Everything seems like something else. Something else is what is that? It's like a box or something. Definitely seems like something else on the rover broke, but I'm not sure what it was. I think it was just the rover arm. But anyway, right. So let's recover you. Incredibly successful mission. We'll have to recover the other thing as well. Turn, and then we there is a recover this, and this should give us a little bit of science. 17 science, which is not bad. Right, cool. So that's the Kerbin testing phase complete. So now let's go back to the vehicle assembly building, and let's try and build a moon mission out of this. So let's open up the Moho lander proper. Cool. Right, so now we must set this to Kerbin vacuum for now. Which, yep, let's retract the legs. And so now we want to build a mission to the moon. So what we're going to do is Moho lander, moon test, and this is going to be the full rocket. So we're going to build a top stage, which will be our return stage. Yeah, which will be so top stage, which will be our return stage, and which will have capacity for at least 5 Kerbals, and which will also form the escape module, and essentially that'll form the escape module. So if anything, actually what I want to do is we'll just call this Moho lander. We will reroute so that this is now the root part. We will save, we will overwrite, because this is now like the proper thing, and it'll be easier to build. Let's change the color of this as well, just keep it consistent. We'll save this. So yeah, I think it'll be easier to build the thing with the So if we do a new thing, now we build this rocket from scratch, because the idea is that we want this would be a bit much, I think, actually, but I don't think there's really a better way of storing. So this thing is gonna this thing's coming back to Kerbin at some point. Well, we also want the I do kind of want the shielded docking port, but I'd also want the launch escape system. But actually, I think the maybe we can fashion our own launch escape system. If we only do liquid fueled rockets, then we can we can build the launch escape system into the thing. So docking port shielded. We want a we do want the payload bay. I do want to keep. I don't want to return. I want to return some science. So 2.5 meter service bay. Again, it seems a bit much for Actually, I think the experiment storage containers can take a bit of punishment. So I'm thinking of having a couple, and then cheeky place, cheeky clip, like so. We put our parachutes all on here. So we want a couple of radials on the thingy, and we want more parachutes rather than less. So if we min pressure 0.3, and then we grab the drogues, and we add the drogues, min pressure 0.2, and we want to make these into a separate stage. Then we duplicate these, we add a couple more, we add them here, we duplicate these, put them here. Then we go lots of parachutes, which will be all we need to get us back to the surface of Kerbin safely. We then add a heat shield, which I'm thinking, if you're coming back from low Kerbin orbit, which is the idea, I think these should survive. So if we grab the thermal, the 2.75 meter heat shield, what is the difference between these? I think this is like 1.3. It's only slightly bigger, and it's a much beefier heat shield. Only slightly more massive. I think it costs more, but I don't really mind that much. Thinking like that. This is our return module. So we need this thing to have enough delta V to get back from the Mun, and again we've got this thing, so we can oh well, you can stage the jettison of the heat shield. Huh. Nice. Don't really necessarily need it. I do want to add some landing legs as well, just because if we do land on the ground, I don't think this thing has what is the impact tolerance of this thing? It is 6 meters per second. That is not a lot. So legs will be useful if we land on the ground. Yeah, it's got double the just in case we come in on the ground. But hopefully we can actually target our should be fine. This is our return module. Yeah. Cool. We then grab a decoupler to plonk on here. And then we build the thing that will get us back from the Mun, which in our delta V map is 800 is about 1,000 delta V. Looking for game to capture. It will hopefully find it there. Cool. Yeah. So now we need Kerbal vacuum. That's good. Yeah, and then this thing's gonna have basically like all of the solars and stuff on it. So let's start with this with a relatively, hopefully, again that's pretty good, but what's the ISP at the moment? That's 350 ISP a vacuum. I'm just tempted to pop that on there, which will give us, oh wow, loads. That's not bad thrust weight ratio for orbit as well. So that's that's more than we need. That's 3,000. Yeah, that's not. Let's get a smaller fuel tank. Like, how about one of these? 1900. Again, that should be more like if this thing is purely giving us back from the Mun. So again, that's more than double what we need. We will add our solars on here. I feel like the Gigantor array is going to be a bit excessive. Again, this thing is going to be like using a lot of power. We do want some RCS on it though, because if we're going to be docking with I suppose if we're going to be doing orbital operations, then again, like we can aero brake. We've got this massive heat shield. We can aero brake. We only need to get out of the moon's orbit. We should have plenty. Do want a smidge of RCS at some point. So coupling. No, not coupling. Electrical. Again, I think like the electrical current in here should be electric charge in here should be enough. Again, we're not going to be using a lot of electricity. Again, we're not really leaving orbit of Kerbal, so we don't need that powerful an antenna. And we can stick a little bit of we can do a bit of monoprop. That's our center of mass moment. Let's give us the no, it doesn't. Right, fuel tanks. Where are the radially mounted? This one don't need a lot. Let's just grab one of these and let's just merge them in a bit. Don't be too silly about it. We will then add the four of these down here. Should we add them a bit? I think if we add these here, and then again, like the idea is, you place them equidistant around the center of mass, you should get pretty good controllability. So I think if you put them there like that, that should be fine. Gives us a bit of, so we can do some. We can basically dock with the we could dock with the moon station, do our crew transfer. We'll shove the set of data that's in here into the lab, or transfer it somewhere. And hopefully, if we do the landing right, we can get a couple of biomes with a rover. We can do a couple of biomes of the rover. But yes, this is our return stage and also our ejection stage as well if we need it. So, yeah. And we need a decoupler. Right. Now, that's where the fun begins. We want to wrap the lander under here. I'm thinking in a... We have a 2.5 meter protective shell here. And we just... close this around there. It's not perfect, but it'll do. Then, actually, no, will that work? No, we don't. We want the slightly bigger one, don't we? I want the 3.75 meter version because I want to stick. And we will not build a fairing on this. We will not stage this fairing. What we will do is we will enable interstage nodes, and we will then, and we'll hopefully put this far enough down that we can actually fit the other lander inside it, which I'll be surprised if we can, but let's find out. Let's untitled spacecraft. Let's Moho lander mun test. Which will hopefully, this should tell me I'm going to overwrite something, which I want to overwrite. I want to then grab the Moho lander itself. I want to merge. I want to see if it won't quite... whoa. It won't quite fit there. Ah, stop it. Oof. This thing is getting a lot of parts. Right, let's... new plan. Since I don't think we can't place it far enough to fit the entire lander in, so what we need is we'll use not the 1.5. We'll use a 2 meter version. We'll do what we were doing before. So we build this. Build this around here. We then grab a decoupler, a TD12, we flip it over, we stick it on here. We set it to force percent 0. That should be fine. We then grab this, stick this on here, like so. Now yeah, we want to configure vessel naming. Yeah. Accept. Okay, right, so we then we strut this thing up. I think. Yeah, we did stick a probe core in there, didn't we? Right, cool. Yeah, let's add some struts just to increase security. Increase structural security there. This is set too long. We want this to be medium short variant. We then want to add a larger protective shell on the bottom. And just basically make this an interstage node. Like so. No problems here. And then if we can add some struts, then, because yeah, the only thing is this is going to be a long boy. But if we, yeah, I'm thinking if we make the thing that transfers this to the moon, essentially like the catamaran stage. So they're basically like, because this thing's going to be wobbly is my concern. So I'm thinking if we transfer this entire thing with the fairings to the Mun, so I'm thinking, where's the, that's the S3 version, so that should fit there. Let me grab 37 engine plate. I'm thinking of making this like a, alright, let's just, again, we're still in vacuum. I want to, again, the staging is probably all over the place. Actually, we do want this stage to go, we don't want this fairing to go first because this contains our solar panels. Good God, this staging is quite confusing. Right, so again, this thing will split, so that kind of makes sense. Let's think. So, when we get into the moon, we want to decouple this bit. We don't want this force percent to be that strong at all, to be honest. We then, yes, we want to decouple this first, move this out of the way, rotate this, decouple this, rotate it back, dock, decouple this. So, yeah, yeah, so we want this to happen before this to go before this to go before where has it gone? Before this, which wants to be in stage 2, I guess. Although we don't want these to be in. We want these to be in separate stages, don't we? Because we don't want because these will be docked when we do this. So we don't want the single stage to stage both these parts. So I think that's right. So this sync stages. We drop this. Ideally, we're flying towards the moon. When we get to the moon, we drop this. Yeah. So we need to figure out what our delta V, etc. is like here. Engines, we want something that's pretty good in vacuum. Again, the poodles aren't going to be, this is quite big, so I kind of want more thrust to weight ratio than the oh wow, that's even better. The Wolfhound 375. $1094. It's pretty good. But yeah, I'm gonna add But I'm going to do free, because I haven't done a free symmetry thing before, and I want to see what it's like. So the side ones are going to be 2.5 meter. Oh, yeah, 2.5 meter parts, because which we will yeah. Which will we will have feeding into this, but they will have their own wolfhounds, like so. And wow, that's already a lot. That's yeah. I mean, the thrust weight ratio isn't great. Oh no, 0.81. That's fine. I mean, I feel like we don't really need to add much more fuel here, but I do want to get up here to. I do want to get up there to add this, add sort of like structure. So I guess we shrink down as fast as we can. Nope, not that one. This one? Nope. God damn it. It's never obvious which bits are which. I think that's the main one. And then, like so. Grab these. Again, this is like loads and loads of delta V. Just like way more than we need. I'm tempted just to do this with structural tubes, to be honest. Yeah, structural tubes and yeah, this thing's gonna have a bit of a time rotating as well. Again, this is just way more than we need. Like, again, 3,000. Like, we only need like 1,000 from low carbon onward to get to the Mun. So I have a feeling that these are. I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with going with too much fuel, is there? And again, 0.61 isn't too bad a TWR for again, the burn time is going to be just forever. I am tempted just to do this with structural tubes. Because we don't need that much fuel. T12 structural tube, long variant. We just... No, that's not what I wanted. Make this a little bit shorter. Medium long, there we go. We add some, yeah, so yeah. Again, like, it's got loads, but you get a much better thrust to weight ratio if you, fuck me. I'm sure it'll be fine. Right, aerodynamics. Nose cones. No. I think I've detected a problem with the nose, with the, go with a straight nose cone. Go with some struts. Yeah, so the idea is that this thing's gonna be like... fully strutted to again, there's not a lot of these don't have any thrust vectoring, do they? These have thrust vectoring? Vectoring range, they have a bit. No, that's fine. I am contemplating. Can I make this a bare mount? It's the same. Looks a little bit better, I think. So, at the moment, I'm thinking this thing's going to be an arse to control. So if anything, I want to put some more control points. And also the fact that, like, this fairing isn't going to be able to That's fine. The fairing doesn't need to deploy. I can put the solars and stuff on the outside. We can leave the fairings intact. I just want a bit more control. Is my main concern. So I'm thinking if we put the just grab these for a second. Grab a couple of some of these. And then redo these. We then add a couple of I just add a couple of these not 3x2, 1x6 solar panel to the outside of here, so that we have some ability to generate power on the way to the Mun. And we should be fine communications-wise when we have pilots on board, so that should be fine. So yeah, so this at the moment it's pretty good, but obviously in sea level it's going to be crap. So now we've got to get let's just action group these things before we do anything else. So default action group custom 10, sorry. It's going to be to deploy these solars. Right. Good God. So now we need all these go, then these go. Well. Yeah, so we decouple, we get rid of the fairing after we've, yeah, that makes sense. Right. Coupling, we need some TD25 decouplers on here. We need this to be medium long, I think, probably. For the sake of a bigger fuel tank. Okay, maybe medium. I think medium, but that's gonna be it. Nope. There we go. And then we'll grab these. Oh yeah, we need separatrons. Some more struts as well, actually. Yeah, alright. Alright, can I make these all orange? Yeah, I can. Orange. Right, I kind of want these to burn out at the same time. So again, we want the big engine plate. And we need something with some decent kick in the atmosphere. We also want some really heavy strutting going on here as well, because at the moment these have no way of being attached to the these aren't actually attached to each other in any way. Right, so again, we assume we're on the sea level. Hopefully this thing will be the thing that gets us into orbit, or at least out of the atmosphere. Again, so once we get out of the atmosphere, we should be able to, the rest, that should have well more than enough delta B to get to where we're going. So, I'm wondering if we do this with a double attach node, and we just whap the mainsail on there. Bare mount. Oof. Let's grab some more mainsails. Okay, that's not bad actually, 1,357. Which is, it's not that bad off the pad either, 1.61. I'm just a bit cautious of it, maybe we can thwonk some SRBs in the gaps here, to give us a bit more of a, yeah, I think if we hit some oh yeah, we need to add the separatrons before we do anything else. So separatrons, nuclear ramjet. I've got so many new parts, it's ridiculous. So again, we want these to be not pointing that way, we want to be pointing that way, and we want these to be going at the same time as these three. We then want separatrons just separating. I mean, again, this is separating from below the rocket, so there shouldn't be any risk of this interfering with the other engines. I do want, again, some. Oh, I do need some. Actually, I feel like the fins might fit. Fins might just like there. I mean, it seems a bit weird. I'm not sure that it's really going to work very well, but we can give it a try. We want a coupling. We want a radial decoupler, and we do want 3 of them, because we are going to be sticking some pretty hopefully some pretty Clydesdale solid fuel boosters. These are big. They are big boys. We just bring them out as far as down as they'll go. Maybe not that far down. To be fair, we could probably get this like up on the SRB stage alone, but I'm a bit wary of the SRB stage. We do want strutting. And we do want incorrect. I think that'll probably do it. Yeah, we do need to, first of all, we need to aerodynamics this up with this one. Yep. We do also need to. I don't think we can't even strut there, can we? We can strut there though. How many parts does this thing have now? Nope. And then we need Serpetrons. Actually, I think mites will probably be the better job for this. Where have the mites gone? Or even shrimps. Yeah, well, I think we can fit a shrimp in the top here. So we want to put it on. No. Okay, let's rotate it so it's pointing up. Then we rotate it so it's pointing that way, and then we move it so it's no, that's not gonna fit, is it? Can we TweakScale? Yay, TweakScale. Let's get it. Make it smaller. Too small. I have a feeling it just becomes a mite at that point. Okay, well let's get rid of that and let's just use mites. The question is how to get on the inside. That's cutting it a little close. Also, what direction is this pointing? There we go. I think it needs to poke out a little bit more, I think. Like that. That looks more reasonable. I say reasonable, I mean this thing looks like a death trap. How many parts are we at? We are at 239 parts. We want these to go with these. Yeah. We need some. We need some launch clamps. We need all of the launch clamps. What's the TWR at the moment? That is 1.84. So yeah, we probably need to like set the because I think these are providing one of like 1.0. So. So yeah, this should be fine. So yeah, I think these are providing like well, like 1.0, like about 1.0. So we set the liquid engines to like 50%, I think. Probably give us about right, let's just yeah, let me sort out the let's sort out the abort action first of all. So the abort action will involve just all of the liquid engines shutting down. Shut down. Can't shut down the. I mean, no matter what stage we're at, we're shutting down our engines. We can't shut those down. No, I assume you can't. I assume you can't shut down the Clydesdales. That'd be a bit silly if you could. They're solid rocket boosters, so don't shut down. We deploy this fairing. We trigger this decoupler. We activate this engine. We trigger these radial decouplers. And then we activate these in the event of an abort. So in theory, if we hit abort, then this should all like split apart, and hopefully the Kerbals will survive as they eject out of there. Is the idea. How many Kerbals do we have on board? Okay, right. So, it'd be nice if it like told you which command module this was. We do want 2 scientists. Oh, we'll worry about this. Okay, yeah, so that's that one, and there's only one hitchhiker, and that's fine. Okay, cool. I think we're ready to give it a try. So let's save it. Let's go to the. Oh yeah, let's double check our staging. So staging. First thing that happens is all these go, and all these engines go, and bam. We don't need this. Then these decouplers and then these separation might go off, separate them, sort the SRBs. Then all of these go off. Hopefully we're high enough in the atmosphere where we have most of the delta we need to get into, like, finish getting into orbit at that point. Then this separates all these off. We then have deploy this fairing, and this is when we do the we decouple the return stage. We then decouple the lander. Then we decouple the lander from the base, and then and then everything else. Yeah, cool. I think we're okay. I think our staging is fine. Let's go to the Kerbal Space Center. Let's go to the launch pad. It is daylight. Let's go for the Moho lander mun test. So we need 2 pilots. I guess Alson and Joan make sense. We want 2 scientists. Actually, the scientists can go in the hitchhiker container. And we want an engineer. Cool, right, so 2 scientists, 2 pilots, and an engineer. That is our crew complement. There's only one thing to do now is to give it a go. So launch vessel. Give it a few minutes to load the thing. Switch to in-flight while we're here. Try and remember to take screenshots as we go. Need screenshots. Right. I'm tempted to try and just see if I can MechJeb this to orbit. It is a new rocket design. I feel like I need to fly it manually. If we have no doubt this thing will handle, let's just start off with maximum throttle. Actually, again, I feel like it's going to be a bit much, so I feel like that will probably be enough. And let's give it a go. Let's just do a couple. I'm just gonna take some screenshots just for the potential video thumbnails, and then hopefully we'll let's rotate the camera back around, and then we will hopefully right, maybe a bit less, maybe a bit not so aggressive on the gravity turn, I think. Wait until we're oh dear. This is not great. Not gonna lie, but I'm gonna wait until the I mean that's the opposite way we want to go really, but I mean until we lose, I will wait until we I mean it's still in orbit, so maybe we can work with it. But we are very, very shallow. Cool. Right. Let's do that, and let's wait until we are not. I don't think we're getting to orbit this way. I think we're going to. Yeah, I feel like we're I don't know. I could try it. I mean, we're just. I don't. Yeah. I mean, maybe it'll work. I mean, again, we're going the wrong way, so I feel like we just probably just abort and land at this point. Yeah. I don't think we're getting to orbit, lads. So I think we're gonna try. Should we just hit this and? Like so. What is our landing coordinates at the moment? Oh yeah, we're going a really weird way. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that wasn't happening. Yeah, that's nearly a polar orbit. That's quite difficult to do a moon mission from a polar orbit. So we are going to. If we can rotate, or like air resistance isn't too bad here, so let's just rotate like so. Rotate retro, and let's just inflate the heat shield and just head back to Kerbin. That was I think we need more fins. Is the lesson from that? We definitely lost control. Insufficient fins on the thing, so I guess adding a bunch of fins just to keep us from going completely over. Because yeah, I feel like I don't think I checked the center of drag there. There goes the rest of the rocket. The people living there are going to be rather upset. So I think we'll modify the design slightly and then attempt to launch again. Actually, I think we can probably fizzle our way a bit closer to the Actually, we can also see what the parachute, what the velocity is like with the parachutes as well. So if we get down below 6, then we know we can jettison the heat shield. Oh yeah, 5.3. And again, I think water landings are a bit water landings are softer as well. Yeah, 4.7. Nice. That should be well within the impact tolerance of this thing. Oh wow, look at it wobble. Oh wow, you can see the ocean. Look at that, you can see the ocean floor. I think that might be parallax rather than anything else. Well, I think that might be parallax rather than enhanced environmental effects, but I don't know, the water looks a bit better, I think. So that was a bit of a dud. Okay, so lessons to learn is we need more. We definitely need more fins. I have a feeling that was an unstable rocket, which is very bad. Let's go straight back to the thing. We'll worry about the debris later. Cool. Right, let's go back to the vehicle assembly building. I'm going to turn my lights on. Hang on, give me a second. Nope. This one. Yeah. There we go. Okay, right. So, yeah, let's have a quick look at the center of mass and the center of aerodynamic. So the aerodynamic drag is down there, but it didn't seem to like it. So, we will attempt more fins. We just need to keep the drag at the back long enough to get out the atmosphere. Okay, so like at least we know the abort system was pretty effective. Didn't kill any Kerbals, which is good. So if we actually, I mean, we are during the day. So if we just do manage the crew from here. So yeah, scientist, engineer, pilot. That's what we want. Let's try launching this instead. See if it works any better. think we get the thrust vectoring from the liquid engines. So. Okay, SAS. Throttle to try the same thing again, so this time with the fins. Right. Okay, right. We are already a minute away from apoapsis, so I'm kind of tempted to just. Again, we're nearly out of the atmosphere, so I think it's been a lot more successful this time. Although we're not quite. I'm wondering if we can correct this a little bit with our our aiming for circularization. So I'm thinking if we start just blasting this way. It's a bit better. We can rotate towards prograde now. And we keep that apoapsis about a minute away if we can. Well, having said that, we are our apoapsis is about 100k is about what we want. So make that 100k, and then we just start like burning closer to that. So probably like about 30 seconds and see what that starts doing. Oh dear. We're passing apoapsis and we are... Okay. Something with the most efficient launch ascent. Ascent profile, I'll have to say. Okay, we are in space. Just. Oh boy, that was not efficient. We have 1500 delta V left though, and I think we are on a it's a bit of a wonky orbit, but it should be equatorial. Again, our periasis is just above the atmosphere, so what's our apoapsis at the moment? It is 258. I say we circularize apoapsis, and then we head straight for the moon. Okay. Let's see how good this thing is at maneuvering. I mean, it seems able to point at its and it's not too wobbly as well when it burns, so it seems to be able to point at where it needs to go and not deviate too much when we're burning. So, oh yeah, we also want to hit our solars, otherwise we're going to run out of power. And yeah, I'll be surprised if I think we'll be able to get into Munar orbit before we can conclude the moon test at a later point. I'll do, and again we should be roughly equatorial, so yeah. Unknown object. That's quite far away. What are we looking at there? Is there some debris or something that there's some orbit that sort of keeps flicking. Never mind. Let's hit a maneuver. go. That's that Munar periapsis. Oh, it's like a collision course. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll stage these. We'll stage the 3, and then we'll start burning 6 minutes and 11 seconds. Let's just focus on the moon. Yeah, cool. So yeah, we'll do this so we're on a collision course of the moon, and then we'll stage, and then we'll use this because we have way more than we need in terms of delta V to circularize, and hopefully the shouldn't take too long to do the circularization burn as well, because we're going to be like, it's quite a curved orbit. Yeah, I think that's going to be the plan. So let's actually, you know what? Let's have this one periapsis. Yeah, 44 kilometers. I want to keep the Actually, this kind of works, and they end up being ejected into a. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Yeah, so we'll do our burn of periapsis and eject these just before we do the burn, so that we're. Actually, I want to use them to capture because we have the much better thrust weight ratio, which we want for capture burns. Yeah, let's just do that. So let's just go to our, because we're coming up on 2 hours. Let's get into orbit of the moon. We'll do the rearrangement, and then we'll be ready to do our like attempted landing on the Mun with the Moho for the test next time on Thursday. 1 minute 5 second burn. Let's do a quick don't want to overdo this because we end up crashing if we do. Cool, what's our lunar periapsis? 47 kilometers, I will take that. Let it maneuver, and we will circularize. We will capture and circularize, hopefully. 47, 47. 20-second burn. So 20-second burn with 1.28 TWR. So it would be about what? Yeah. Yeah, it's not quite equatorial. Maybe we can fix that. See, we're sort of going up, so we want to be. Not quite right. We'll ignore this for now. We'll just circularize and worry about the fixing the orbit later. Again, like we only need to care. Like, I'm thinking if we try and land somewhere near the. We already have a rover there, so maybe. I'm thinking if we try and land somewhere like in or on the edge of the crater, so we can like drive up to it and get two biomes in one. Is my thinking. But that is for another. That is for another time. Because for now we have we have to capture in the moon orbit, and then we'll worry about everything else next time as we rapidly approach 8 o'clock. And get ready for a time warp. Once we're in orbit, we'll do the we can do the orbit. We can do the reassembly, and then we can leave everything as it is. So in theory, if we do the time warp now, I think that's our space station. Oh wow! Look at that. I'm pretty sure that's a Parallax mod. Look how much more detailed the moon is now. Christ. Man, that's gonna be fun to land on, I can tell you that much. Oh, I forgot to bring the. Actually, we can cannibalize the rover when we're done. I forgot to bring the an extra graviton thing to install on the other lander. That'll do. 47.8 to 46.9. That's circular enough. Well, that's definitely worth a screenshot. Look at that. Parallax mod there. Pretty sure that's Parallax. Right, let's just quickly try this. We are still on the daylight side. We can try this reassembly. So, in theory, if we hit, I must be a bit cautious about what might happen. I'm tempted if we just go if we do normal and then just, yeah, actually if we do that, so we'll yeah, we'll let's just align our orbit with this. So the next thing we're hitting is the ascending node. So we add a maneuver here and just bit much. There we go. So it's only 21.9 meters per second, but I kind of want to I want to stage these while we're doing this burn, so that they fly away from us, so that we're basically like flying away from them, and then hopefully they won't hit us again. We can move on to a different orbit once we've rearranged. Yeah, we'll lower our orbit once we rearrange to like 30, and then we'll be good. Or we'll raise it up to 50, something. Right, let's just quickly do this. So let's just time warp to this. We'll do it at like 10 seconds around, because right, oh yeah, we do that is a point. These do have, so we want to stage then engines, right? Stage engines. That'll do. It's probably close enough. 0.1, that's fine. Right, cool. Right, let's actually let's keep ourselves aligned. Let's align ourselves normal. I think it's probably the best. Let's go prograde. Yes, we want to raise our orbits. So hopefully these things won't come back to hit us. They shouldn't do. They should be on like pretty different orbits by now. So if we just quickly time warp, we're going into the nighttime side, so I kind of want to time warp round to like here. Right, and then we're going to do our rearrangement. And then we will call it a day, because it is 5 to 8, and I have stuff to do. Oh, I didn't bring any repair kits either. God damn it. I'm forgetting everything today. I didn't pack a repair kit in the lander. Oh well. Well, let's hope that the arm doesn't get damaged. Okay, right, so we hit this, we pause, for the sake of screenshots, fun times, and then whilst we're doing this, we hopefully, right, so this should be like, yeah, the return stage, so we RCS, we go a bit forwards, bit backwards, so that we're stopped. This thing we rotate up, We hopefully this will jettison this. Then we rotate back to prograde. Set that as our target. Nope, this one. Open the shield, control from here. Set as our target. We turn off RCS, we rotate towards target. Oof. Switch this. We control from here. We wait for them to finish aiming at target. We aim at target. We switch back to these guys. We edge ourselves forwards. We dock. Then in theory, that's not what we want to happen. We need to adjust our staging slightly because we now want this to stage itself. So we want to go to probably rotate to normal again. Actually, no, we don't want. No. We want to rotate to prograde because we want to raise our orbit slightly. This is yeah. We don't want to get rid of this yet because this thing will still, I think. Oh yeah. At the moment we yeah, we want to shut these down. And we definitely want to control from here. Yeah, because otherwise we're going to be lowering our orbit, not raising it, which is the opposite of what we want. Right, okay, let's just fizz warp around. Okay. Stop, then hopefully this should give us the little kick we need to. $50. I'll get around to periapsis. Oh yes, we're at periapsis. We want to be at apoapsis, don't we? Okay, right. Takes as long as it takes to rotate around. Cool, let's just 9 50 6 7 8 9 51 to 4. Yeah, that's fine. That's good. Let's just rotate around to daylight. A lot of debris being left in orbit at the moment. Alright, let's Rotate to normal. Get rid of the engine because this is basically like the this is essentially like the this is essentially the orbit we want to stay in for our rendezvous afterwards. So in theory, if we hit this, there we go. Right, so but we're ready to attempt, and we'll activate this engine. So we've got we have some ability to maneuver ourselves. But yeah, so we'll be attempting our landing from here. Which will be next time because it's now gone 2 hours. That's as long as I want to stream in sections. So yeah, so we'll attempt a landing on a moon. Try and pick a landing spot that's like near enough to another biome so that we can get 2 biomes in one with the rover. And yeah, and this should be the test of the Minmus. Yeah, there, cool. Yeah, this will be the test of the Moho lander on the moon, which will hopefully be a success, but we'll find out. We'll find out at the time. And then yeah, so we're gonna do that. So yeah, next time we will perform that Moho lander test on the moon. We will then return. Then we'll hopefully get back into orbit. Rendezvous with the with Mos in orbit. Do the crew transfer. Do the crew swap. Head back to Kerbin, and then we know we're good to launch that. Well, we'll make any modifications to the rover we need, and we're good to launch that into orbit with a transfer stage ready to get it to Moho, which should be good. Right. Save game. Quick save 30 and go to main menu. Cool. Yep, I think that'll be the. We shall leave it there. But yeah, I'll be doing my kind of like quote unquote official stream on Thursday from 6 o'clock. So yeah, I will see you then. So yeah, cheerio.